That was beautiful. That was a beautiful part to come in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a really chill stream, a really relaxing, hopefully, just end of day stream. I had a long, not a super long work day, but I definitely worked like an hour later than I thought. I thought I would be wrapping up my main work an hour earlier, and then I ended up working an hour later. So it was one of those days where I'm like, whoa, this is going really well. I'm gonna double check one thing, and then I'll be on my way. And then 2 hours after that, I was like, oh my god. I fixed the problem. I did more than I thought I would be able to accomplish today, but I just ate dinner, and I kind of had a light lunch, and I had Rice Krispies for a afternoon snack, so I just now got some actual protein today. But yeah, I hope you all are doing well. If you are a night owl, I'm happy to have you here with me. Or if you're watching this VOD in the morning and you're like, I love watching these in the morning, but I wish you did more morning streams. I do think like most of, or at least most of our chatty audience, if you're a lurker or VOD watcher, I hope you know I like doing these because y'all are super important to me as well, and the backbone of this community. So game dev streams and these weekly night streams for me to just de-stress, do personal work, they're not going anywhere. That's actually a big my New Year's resolution from last year when I went through my first layoff was like, okay, I'm not gonna give up on the game dev portion of this channel ever. So these aren't going anywhere, but in addition, I'm starting up doing Monday and Wednesday morning streams before work. We did a poll on Discord, and it looked like Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays were the days that worked best for folks. So I decided to do the Monday, Wednesday slots for morning streams. Because even though we have had a few days where we've done Thursday morning and Thursday night streams, especially for Nintendo stuff, I don't want to lock into that being a permanent thing, because then that's me getting up much earlier, like 3 hours earlier than I would for work, doing a stream, and then trying to get out of work early but likely staying late and then going into another stream at the end of the night. I don't want to commit myself to that every week because that sounds really stressful. For Nintendo, occasionally love doing that, especially if we're hyper all day because of Nintendo news and stuff, but otherwise I think the Monday Wednesday schedule, getting up earlier on Wednesday, will maybe help get me focused for the week. I actually was able to get a lot of work done yesterday. I felt pretty focused throughout the rest of the day and energized. I went to bed early. I was very tired by the end of the night, but maybe that was a good thing. It might have fixed my sleep schedule a bit. So we did Sonic Generations, specifically Shadow Generations. We're almost done with the game. I think we probably have half an hour to an hour left of it. So I'll put out a poll on Discord tomorrow asking, we have 3 possible slots for where to beat that game, because our next stream on Saturday is going to be Elden Ring. I've bumped up the time slot up 2 weeks from when I thought I would. Granted, if we end up getting a Switch too, and we end up getting really invested. Okay, someone just ran their car off the road or something. And we end up getting really invested. Someone's never driven in the ring before, my god. But if we end up really getting invested in Fantasy Life, and we end up getting a Switch 2 and being able to play stuff like Mario Kart on release, then we won't be getting to Elden Ring until the end of June, leading into July 4th weekend too, to do I'd make it up with back-to-back streams. But as a result, the Elden Ring hiatus from this weekend possibly to close to 4th of July it's not going to technically be 2 months. Technically we'll stream in May and June, but it is going to feel closer to 2 months. So I don't think we'll get, I've been wanting to advance the story, but it has hit me that we are pretty underleveled and the world is very big in Elden Ring, so sneak peek for Saturday's stream. I finally found a way into the academy last night. I level grind just 2 levels up, but I found a map to something we need, so I stopped playing there because I'm like, okay, doing stuff around the academy, that is probably what we're going to focus on tomorrow, and focus on more just wherever life takes us journeys with that. But yeah, that is the plan with Elden Ring. In fact, I could pull up the schedule here just to show it on the screen. But I'm hoping the morning streams might add bonus occasional game dev streams in the mornings, kind of similar to how occasionally we'll check in with game dev stuff on a weekend so that weekend viewers can catch those live. But for the most part, game dev is staying firmly on Thursday night here for now, just because it's working out well for me. If you are on Discord and you're a subscriber, then you should be able to see the monthly newsletter I put out, and I put out to Twitch subscribers last night, I put out our first video essay. It's not perfect. There's a lot of stuff, like, as I was even just editing the video, I kept like going back and making revisions and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I just have to put my first one out there. And a lot of stuff I'm actually saving for the next video as kind of a semi-part 2 to this one, but it's about tutorials and games, which ones are my favorites and which ones, there's one specific games tutorial that I actually, when replaying, realized it wasn't that bad, but it kind of ruined a demo for me and I never ended up picking up the full game, and as a game designer that stuck with me, why I had that experience. So I just made a video. It's about 20 minutes long. That will be up to everybody on Twitch next Tuesday, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it will be up on YouTube next Wednesday. So I'm excited to see how it does. I mean, I'm not going to expect big numbers or anything, and I do talk about Legend of Zelda for a segment in there, and I even did a disclaimer that I'm a real Zelda fan. No matter what you consider that, I've played most of the games, so I should fall under your considerations. But the internet's crazy. So hopefully I can leave comments up. Hopefully it will be fun. But it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm looking forward to, for a year, I'm going to try to do these shorter video essays on a monthly basis. But yeah, taking a look at, this is the official schedule that is up. So I added on our monthly schedules little nighttime icons for when we're doing an evening stream. That's the time it is now, versus a short morning stream. That's the time I streamed yesterday, since I know we've got people from all over the globe watching. And then yeah, if it doesn't have an icon, that means it's probably like a longer in an afternoon stream. So kind of more like an all day type thing that I would try to do. So we've got Elden Ring coming up. Big things I want to get out of the way is hopefully this Inzoi update happens earlier in May rather than later. I'd like to check it out before Fantasy Life comes out if possible. Because we left off on some crazy drama in Inzoi, so I do mean to get back to it. But I also want to fully, excuse me, the pasta I had is in my throat. But I also want to fully get back, start Wanderstop and beat it before Fantasy Life I comes out. So that will be kind of like our cozy mornings for the first few morning streams here. And then we'll hopefully have a weekend to completely finish Wanderstop. And then, as you guys can see, Fantasy Life comes out at the end of the month, and we're gonna put in basically all our streams from release to the end of May are going to be Fantasy Life, and then we'll start to filter back into our regular schedule, whether we'll see when we get a Switch 2 and then factor that in. So we'll just have to see what June, I have no idea what June looks like at the moment right now. I have a better idea of what July looks like than what June looks like for this schedule. But it will probably have more Inzoi, more Fantasy Life, and of course Elden Ring, and hopefully some Switch 2 stuff. And yeah, as you can see here for you game dev viewers, we will be hitting a pause point in a couple weeks here, and then we are going to, because I want to play Fantasy Life as much as possible when it comes out, we're going to do a couple nighttime streams in place of the game dev ones, but that's just going to last for these 2 weeks. As soon as June rolls back around, we're going to hop back over into game dev streams. And I was originally going to do a short Fortnite creative level, and then hop back over into, what was it? Oh, hop back over into these Kid Icarus arena studies that we've been doing. But I've actually really enjoyed these arena studies a lot because they're so short, and we're able to like do a phase of one, hop to a new one, come back, do the next phase of one. Like, we're able to hop around and keep things fresh while still being in the same project. So this is kind of like the most productive I've felt with a stream project. I would say the only one I felt kind of more productive with, the only two I guess that I feel like have been more productive have been the pumpkin patch, because that went on my portfolio, and then the Oz Tycoon, because that one was the best one we've had on Fortnite Creative so far. So aside from those two, this project's kind of really shaping up to be, it's not like as impressive, but it is like a great sandbox for me and a great stress reducer, which is why I kind of want to jump back into it in June and not start something new. If we want to do something new though, I have been mentioning like wanting to learn some stuff in Blender, and I would like to look at Unreal's like modeling tools a bit more, so we might do a few like one-off Blender streams, depending on what the June schedule looks like. Maybe we kind of slip in a like learning the Blender tutorial at some point this summer, but we are going to go back and redo or pass Oz Tycoon and kind of spice it up with effects and stuff. So we are going to update that. I'm probably going to start on that in September. We're going to focus on it largely in October, and then we'll actually release it as 2.0 in November. So we'll have like 3 months focusing on that anyway in the later part of the year. So I kind of want to take the summer to keep working on this sandbox, kind of off and on the way it already has been. But yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun with it, so I'm like, you know what, we don't have to stop necessarily. But the plan for that is tonight, you can tell I'm in like no rush, right? So tonight we're just going to be, why is my stuff open? We're just going to be continuing to set dress our arena right here. We've got some brick material that I'm just gonna kind of slap all over this, honestly, and then maybe switch up the materials or add some meshes for these pillars here. I added the meadow pack from our pumpkin patch work, so I added that into here, and it has some like dead grass, and it has some flowers and some different vegetation. So we're going to like do some more foliage around this little, we turned it into a hot spring. It's just standing water and like a glorified puddle in the actual original game, but I wanted to turn it into a healable hot spring in here. And then if we have time, I want to go back and revisit some of these like cover revision pieces and kind of add some more debris around them, and maybe add some more structural pieces that have fallen down, and take a look at the meadow pack again to see if there's anything in there we can add in here, just to set dress it up. And the reason it's set dressing is it's stuff that's not like part of the structural integrity of the level. It's not stuff that's maybe already present in the level via a blockout. It's stuff that once you have an initial art pass done, and like stuff with the design is mostly solidified, that you can go in and just add little little touches to make it not feel so empty. That's kind of where we are with our current 2 blockouts, and where we were at for a long time with that pumpkin patch blockout last year. I think we did a couple set dressing streams to be like, the design's intact, the gameplay's there, and technically all the art is in, so why does it still not look good? Why does it still feel empty? And that's because you've got to sprinkle a little bit of magic in there. I'm a level designer, not an artist, so it's still not going to look great, but hopefully it won't feel soulless, at least. Hopefully, especially when we compare it to the reference from 3DS, it will show that I'm a real fan of Kid Icarus. Oh yeah, but like I said with Shadow Generations, we're almost close to doing that. So the options we have are we can either finish it up at the start of stream Saturday and then play Elden Ring for whatever time's remaining afterwards, or we can dedicate like 3 or 4 hours to Elden Ring, and then when we hit that, switch over and beat Shadow Generations for the end of stream. Or option number 3 is we just dedicate all day Saturday to Elden Ring, and then we save Shadow Generations for our next morning stream to finish up in when we wake up. But we will have to see. I will poll you all on it in Discord. I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards like ending with Shadow Generations. That way when we have the most people, we're playing Elden Ring and stuff, and then we can wind down. Like we can dedicate. I think we have to drop off Mocha Saturday morning. But I think we'll probably be back around like 2 Central Time. So then we can I'll be able to do like 2 to 6 for Elden Ring, put in like a good 4-hour stream of that, and then we could swap to Shadow. But yeah, I know I usually try to shoot for 5 hours, but I feel like we're just going to be kind of level grinding. So we'll see. It really depends when I get in on Saturday, because also have to get groceries and gas, and I will probably make a coffee run as well. But yeah, what I'm doing here is I found this material that we haven't used in here yet, as part of our medieval castle set, and it's a brick material, and it's kind of the only one. So that is what we're going to make this tower in the center out of in the original game. Let's see what that. Yeah, in the original game, it's kind of actually just a brick center with kind of like stone. So I guess we could do a different material for the actual floor, but depends if we find one. This has been our so yeah, these are screenshots my cousin, shout out Cup Drinker on YouTube, but these are screenshots my cousin took on his 3DS of all of the different angles we needed to reference of remaking this arena, and then this is all the progress pics from like our first stream to the blockout 1 being finished to more revisions being done, calling it a blockout 2, and then this is where we were at last week and basically today. I like progress pics because I like to confirm that yes, it is indeed getting better. Sometimes when I look at work and I'm frustrated and I'm like, why isn't this perfect? I go back and I look and I'm like, wait a minute, progress has been made here. So that's good. But yeah, we are going to apply this material to all of this. If I shift B. So yeah, hitting shift B selects all the faces on here. If we slap that there, I'm going to change this because right now the bricks are kind of tiny compared to the bricks on our mesh up here, which they're allowed to be, but they also are much bigger in the other thing. So we're going to go down here to our scale, and I'm going to set that to 2 and hit apply. In fact, we could set it up much larger, probably. Yeah, that's probably closer to what the scaling was in the game. But the question is, do we want to do that? I think I want to just keep it at... What's 4 look like? Maybe we'll just keep it at 4. 4 seems pretty reasonable. Or keep the outside at 4 and maybe the interior one at 2 for the scaling. Then we'll leave the stairs for now. I'm so excited for y'all to see this tutorial video. Even though it's not great, I feel like I'm going to be able to get better with this, and that's an exciting feeling. Oops. Now this is where us this is where us messing around a bit with the UVs in our blockout. This is where the consequences of that kind of shine. I wonder if there's a less invasive texture we can use. That's not a great solution, but it's not as jarring on the eyes as this is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, I'm a level designer, so we get crafty with these solutions sometimes. I'm actually gonna leave that there. That works. Yeah, that's all fine with me. I'm not picky. Except maybe... this part here is a little janky. Maybe this is where the plaster would work a bit. What did I use in this blockout material. I probably just need to create a new material for the dirt. Ground leaves. It's rock tile. What did I have for the dirt? Oh yeah, this is the dirt. I'm just crazy. Let's go ahead and just create a material here. I need to organize this folder more if we're gonna use it long term. I will do that off stream. Probably. It's my project. I get to. Base color, and then let's add the normal data. I think that's all the data I have brought in for these two. Or wait a minute. I brought in the meadow stuff. So I should just have shouldn't I just have the dirt by default? How's that look? How does dirt stairs look? Is there any difference? So we gotta skip this up. Maybe the rock one. Materials. Or sand, soil. That is scaled up way too much. Can we... rock materials. There's some stretching here that I don't like. I think that's gonna be on all of them. I don't think there's just a... What is the material on this in the actual game? Now I'm just confused. I think it's just what the same rock as below. Which we're just using like really shiny dirt. The UV scaling doesn't matter, so it must be world-based. What would it look like if it looks okay to have the entire stairs like that? But it doesn't. That's the issue, is it does not. Guess let's try different ones. There's the soil. Actually, I don't mind the soil so much. I don't mind the soil so much if we go back to this and we put it underneath so it's not just like suspended. Which is probably gonna be a bit of a pain to do, but it's fine. It's fine. This is a chill stream anyway. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but I just need to place materials and relax. Hope you all have been well. I've just been, I mean, it's been like just over a day since my last stream. I don't know why it feels like so long. But yeah, finished up Split Fiction earlier in the week, and amazing game. I think It Takes Two is still better, especially like there's a lot of technical game design that that Split Fiction just blows me away on. I'm like, there were several times we stopped and we're like, wait, how did they do that? And we're also game developers, my partner and I. We're like, what are they doing here? So that's a pretty awesome thing to have. The story is very solid, and it probably has some of our favorite moments out of like Haze-like games, but I think as a whole It Takes Two is slightly more of a coherent, like, the point of Split Fiction is that the stories don't mesh well together, but I think gameplay wise that's always gonna lend to ones that do, like It Takes Two is about starting off on like opposite footing and then learning to find common ground. So I think that blends. That's the same thing with Split Fiction, but it does more so in showing how they clash and to embrace that, versus It Takes Two is like actually blending some of the mechanics together a bit more. But not to say it sounds like I hate Split Fiction. It was really amazing. Highly recommend if you do like It Takes Two or just couch co-op in general. Yeah, I think we definitely like the fantasy worlds and the side stories. If you're playing and you're like, oh, side story, I'll skip it. That's like the core of the game. I highly recommend do not ever skip a side story in Split Fiction and you'll have a good time. I just wonder if we could just do maybe like a wooden plank here. Because why not? I'm feeling fancy. Scale it in a bit. That looks worse. I just need to edit the points on these. I'll do that a bit later. I'll do that later. But yeah, not that players will be looking up, but it just makes more sense to me to have the brick supporting underneath. Maybe we put the does the brick work for these pieces in here? gonna make it brick pieces in here for now. Though they don't have to be such tiny bricks. What's it look like if they're, because they kind of blend in too much back there. Kind of like just big stone cutouts is what I'm going for instead. But yeah, be split fiction. Pardon me. I was having fun playing the management game in Yakuza 7 and just messing around replaying that, and then I ran into spoilers. I ran into Majima and he whooped me, so I'm like, oh, it's time to put the game down for a bit. I was like, oh, I just have to level grind for a while. It was just like, yeah, it's time to take a break. I'm gonna leave this. I do like the ground kind of peeking out. So I'm gonna leave the rest of it like that. And then this flag, the flag's going to be probably the most placeholdery thing right now. I did find a tutorial on how to do cloth simulations, so we might do this for the schedule with the rest of our May game dev streams. Is we're set dressing this level tonight, we're set dressing the previous level, the city level, we're going to set dress that next week and revisit the art on that one. See if we can do a foliage pass mainly on that. And then we will do like tiny detail things on both levels, and probably some lighting as well. And just kind of play test and like think about what we want to do next with them for our last game dev stream of the month. And then we'll take, again, just a couple weeks pause. I don't want to take too long of a break from this because I'm having a lot of fun. But I really hope, my one fear for Fantasy Life is like, well, what if it has performance issues on the Switch 1? That are only resolved on the Switch 2, but they haven't advertised that. So I don't know how they're gonna handle it, but if it does turn out to be a bad game, it would break my heart, but we have other games to play. And I kind of want to, unless it's literally unplayable, I want to see most of it through and make the opinion for myself instead of just like waiting. Because yeah, I get when people are like, oh, it's a bad game, don't buy it. If it's something that you are like on the fence about, or it's like a really, really bad quality game, but if it's playable, then as a fan of a huge fan of the original Fantasy Life, I do want to form my own opinion on it. And it's been so long since that one that if it can do even half of what the original did for me as a kid, then I'll be pretty happy with it. I should see if pre-orders are up yet on the Switch. That's how I found out it got delayed like the previous time. It was supposed to come out in October and it was like middle of October and I was like, huh, I swear Fantasy Life was coming out soon. I should pre-order it. And I'm like, that's weird. There's no pre-orders anywhere. And then I looked it up and saw the delay and I was like, well. Okay, looking at it from a distance. From a distance, the scaling needs to be up more on these. I'm not gonna change the scaling on everything, I think, but specifically the middle. Let's start here. I think the scale on this, because it looks, you can tell it's a repeating texture when it's too close together. Let's try 8 on you. Well, I guess from this angle, it's going to. It repeats very clearly at any angle, it looks like. Except for like 16, but I feel like that's too much. What's 4 look like? Okay, I think 4 might be good for that. And as a result, let's see if 8 works better for these. I think we did consider 8. I'm gonna go ahead and actually I'll keep these 4. And just keep this big bottom layer. Yeah, let's try that. Then hopefully we'll do a tutorial that last time and we'll save the flag for the big finale. Next thing I want to do, let's see, what time is it? I had like a pimple that popped, so I put like some concealer all over my face, but now I keep grabbing my face. Let's do foliage next here. Let's save our work. Go to the meadow, foliage, meshes. So now we can choose kind of which details we want to add into our foliage brush here. I'm not gonna do any trees or anything like that. Do I think I want some... Wait, are these not the... Hold on a minute. Wait, the foliage isn't set up as foliage types? I'm just realizing? What? I gotta do everything myself around here. What? It's like, why isn't it going in? Okay, let's try it out with you. Oh, that is ugly. Perfect. Do they have dead grass that's like a little perkier? Is that going anywhere? think that's doing like much of anything. Oh wait, yes, it technically, okay. It's just blending in with everything else. But that's not the worst. You can stay on the team then. Yeah, I was hoping it would be actual foliage so that some of them would like move around like this, right? I just missed for the... Turn on my filters. Okay, it's just the ones I've made. Interesting. That's fine. What flowers do we want? Kind of thinking yellows and like purples. Yeah, anything green. Though I did say I didn't want this to be like too lush. Here, all these selected. Let's see how this places. Can't see. Oh, there are little flowers poking through. Actually, it's pretty good. This is like immediately overriding all of our work from this other night. Density, let's crank that down a little bit. Stuff over here, let's crank that way down now and just... try to even it out. Does that look better or worse? I might erase the ones, yeah, anything just really deep in the water is kind of looking... it's not really merging with our style right now. Yeah, this should be like a bit of a harsher cut. That's looking a bit better. I like the purples. The yellows aren't coming through as much as I thought they would, but... some bush. Okay, they're moving. They're wobbling around. Look at them go. Maybe adding some mushrooms in. just do some light. Lots of mushroom. They are going in, right? Maybe a little more than that, just to make sure real quick. Do the mushrooms exist? There's one? Please. Some of these don't like to behave real well. I wonder if I should actually maybe put a light bit of foliage around the center. Maybe just the flowers. And some of like these smaller plants. Oh wait, I know. Okay, I'm just stupid. I was still erasing. Oh, well, you know what? I meant to do that because the mushrooms look really cute just on this. This rock's so pretty now. Oh my gosh. Slay. Then cover up that ugly ass landscape up there. Okay, maybe we should erase a little in the front so it's still very much a rock. There we go. That looks... Yeah, I think it's just from a distance the foliage is throwing me off. But in the moment, it looks really nice. Let's actually go ahead and... let's go ahead and play a little bit. Still got like an hour 20 to stream, so I think we'll have plenty of time for some cover revisions. Ooh, I almost never spawn it up here. I don't know why I can't hear Unreal at all. I know I turned its volume down, but not this low. Okay, the tower feels nice. I hear it a bit. They're too good. Oh, I'm stuck on my own piece of cover. So maybe we bring this one out a little bit. in light of that discovery. We need a health pack on this side of the map. Probably put one in that alley. It's nice to see the AI using like the full extent of the map also. To kill me. Hi there, Shrill Duck. How are you? I'm so glad I turned this into a hot spring. That's probably my favorite change we've done to, even though we've only blocked out 2 of the arenas. It's probably my favorite change we've done from the original to this. Where's my teammate? Let me bring up the kill board. Oh, they're doing more work than me. Put away the board. Actually, we might make some small revisions, and then we might just simulate a game where I'm not playing, but where you can watch 4 computer players play and see. How am I liking UE? Oh, I'm a huge Unreal Engine fan. I've been using it for 6 years. 5, not as much. Only things I've done professionally with 5 have been like shorter projects. So that's why I've been doing all of my personal work in UE5, is to just keep up with learning the differences. I think the main thing I want to check out more that UE5 has for level designers versus like UE4 is like their modeling capabilities. I know a lot of my designer friends have talked about how cool the modeling software is. It's not like as advanced as Blender or Maya, but it's definitely better than buying Maya. I used Maya throughout college, and I know it's an industry standard, but to pay for something that crashes that frequently? Ooh. And yeah, we're doing this in Unreal's Lyra template, which I have used for both personal and a little bit of industry work before. So, Lyra is not new to me, however, I have a very love-hate relationship with it, depending on the day. I love it because as a level designer, primarily, like, I don't know how to do a lot of gameplay stuff, so to have a template that's just like your basic deathmatch settings, and that's all you need to like make your own level, like, that's fantastic, and I'm really glad that Unreal put something like that out there. But if you want to edit anything in Lyra, it's actually like it's actually a bit of a nightmare. So if you don't ever think in your entire life you'll have to change something in Lyra, it's perfect for you. If you ever want to consider changing anything, yeah, we'll run a simulation next time. Then Lyra's not maybe for you. I remember like any professional like experience, like some of the most talented programmers and gameplay designers I've ever worked with have a very strong hatred with Lyra. They're like, why are we using this? It would be so much easier to make something completely from scratch. And like, the health components, like, they aren't working properly, so I actually had to make like a debug. I placed a health volume that is working underneath the health pickup, so that's actually just a debug of mine. They have a weapon in here that's like really cool, but it's also debug. It's not finished and it's very finicky. There's some like desync on some of the guns, and then the AI doesn't use nav links to— they can jump down, but they have no way to jump up, so you have to design everything around giving them alternatives. And like, since I do want to eventually tailor this a bit more to Kid Icarus's like light v dark mode isn't a traditional like PvP like shooter mode. It does have its own little like perks and tweaks, the main one being it really feels more melee focused than like long range focus, which the Lyra template is very long range focus and not heavy on melee at all. So I wanted to tweak some of the values, like buff health and then like reduce the weapon amounts. Why is that not a variable you can edit in here? It's like you have to go on a magical quest and summon Satan to change like the health component, when that's something that I've made from scratch before in Unreal. It is easier and quicker than just editing any property in Lyra. I don't know why. I don't know why it works like that. I've asked like my fellow industry friends, and they're like, I don't know why either. I'm depressed. Why are we using this? But again, it's hard to complain about something that's like a free asset to use when I am not capable of making something like this myself, so it's hard to be super picky about it. But if I am gonna be picky about it, then that's what I have to say. I have to program it in the nav box. Yeah, it's like there's just so many extra hoops you have to jump through compared to like other templates with Unreal. So sometimes I keep hoping like maybe one day they'll update it, but I also last summer I learned like Fortnite Creative to see like what that difference was compared to regular Unreal. And I hate to say that it was kind of more of the same, where actually let me check right now, because just out of curiosity if they fixed this problem yet. So Fortnite Creative has like a bug that is, I think, maybe a couple months old, and then the bug is that like XP is a huge part of Fortnite Creative, right? And the issue is that you can't play test your amounts. There's like, they aren't triggering in it. And I saw a thread that's like, hey, since the update, this is kind of a big deal. We can't play test our things, right? And I don't know if that ever got fixed. Yeah, I saved the thread here. Let me see if it ever got... What's the original date on this? January 14th. Is it fixed? The thread's going longer. It's going longer. Okay, it's supposed to be fixed as of now. As of like the end of March, it was supposed to be fixed. And then there's a response under it that's like, it's still not fixed, and there's not a response to that. So yeah, there are some things with there are some things with just I know Epic's super massive now, so they can't possibly respond to everything, which is fine. But you do notice a few things pop up where it's like an issue will happen in some sort of like template or something they offer, and sometimes it just never gets resolved. So I do feel like Lyra is kind of a way off of that. So that's why I always say like Lyra is good for me. It was good for me to make a portfolio piece last year, and it's good for me to do like this sandbox learning UE5 a bit more compared to UE4 stuff. But in terms of like, I would not ship a game off of this, not at all. Not to say no one can, but for me personally, I think I would lose my mind. Lyra's not opening for you. I actually had an issue with that. I had to migrate. I'm on a new PC this year, thankfully. My old PC was given out. I still use it to play The Sims like at night. It's just become a Sims console for me, basically. So I can play Sims in bed and annoy my partner by yapping about the Sims I'm murdering on screen. So that's what the old PC's been relegated to, but I did have to export a lot of my personal projects and migrate them over to the new PC, and all of them migrated fine, except for the ones with Lyra. For the ones with Lyra, I actually had to re-download Lyra, and then hand pick out the maps that I wanted to bring over and put them into a fresh project. I tried just regular exporting it, I tried just like zipping up the file and copying it, and I tried directly migrating. I tried like every way I know how to move a project to a fresh PC in the book, and again, just straight migrate worked for all of my other Unreal projects. But yeah, Lyra just was not, it would not open for me. I probably had whatever bug you had. I wish I knew what the cause was, but I do not. Hence why I had to like kind of force fix it. No idea what the issue was. Maybe one day I'll learn what the problem was, but you wanted to steal the assets out of Lyra, but you can't open it. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. That's what would be my recommendation, is if you are able to steal all of the assets and then make your own template using the assets. Let's add some of these rocks into our foliage thing. I want to add some debris pieces. Let's uncheck the flowers, I guess. No more flowers. Get those out of here. Only rock. You want the map assets? I might be able to look at one of the maps if you want. Though that won't help you get them, obviously. But if you're just like window shopping for some stuff, I could probably pull up like the demo map. But yeah, if you're looking for like just pulling all the assets, then sadly Lyra's a pain. Where's paint? Let's see. How many rocks is that? Less rock. Too much rock. Oh my goodness. Too much rock. What just fell? Mocha. Hi. Come here, Mo. Come here, Mama. Hi, Mo. You have anything to say? Oh, you're grumpy today. Yeah, boyfriend and I have been babysitting my parents' cat Mocha here for the week. She does not let us sleep. If I've been a little tired on this week's streams, I have... And there goes my cat's coming up for... She's been knocking many things over. I don't know how much is broken. She ate my... I had a thing of like chips and queso and she ate my queso. I like got up to get something for 2 seconds and I turned around and she had her face covered in cheese. And you've been biting us and you've been eating Artie's food? What do you have to say for yourself? She's been so talkative, she's suddenly quiet. She has no defense. Can you not break anything, ma'am? Can you let me finish stream? She's probably gonna go kill someone now. Project Titan? Ooh, I don't know if I've ever even opened Project Titan one. I do have the new PC now. I could try it. I do always worry that, like, what if my PC just explodes? It's 300 what? I don't think I will be opening it. You know what? Some questions you don't you don't need the answers to. Actually, ooh, so this is like the broken piece, right? So we should have all this debris a little denser around here. And then turn down the density and put it more like... Just a little bit of that. Cool. Okay, for this little run in here, I almost want to raise this up and have like a cutout. That's the hard thing about the original map in this, is like the verticality is just on the spiral tower itself. The rest of the map, it's all done through landscape. Because it's a melee focus, like you can shoot stuff, but yeah, your melee damage always is more reliable than your range damage, I feel, in this game. So like if you see someone, you want to charge at them and you shoot on the way to get some things, but I feel like once you lock onto someone, you always run towards them in this game. But Lyra, Lyra, you die very quickly currently. So we're gonna want a little more cover than's provided in the main game. Like look how open this screenshot is. Which is in fact, if we turn off the cover revisions layer, this is what the faithful adaptation of the level looks like. And then these are the cover bits I added because I was getting blown up. It's getting exploded. But yeah, I think I wanna add a little more verticality. I don't want to make it feel too off base, but something like this here. We could just stack it up on top of a plain stone wall. I know there's one in here. Oh wait, I don't want to put it in gameplay. Cover revisions. I think this is the closest we've got to. Ooh, the texture mapping you can change. Yeah, it's hard when you find like a really cool setting in a project and then like you start to not want to move on to another project. You're like, but this works so well. Like there were a few blockout tools that I used at my previous job that I really they weren't even like company tools, but it was just something like a designer made one day. It was like, they're helping me, so y'all can use them too, and they were really nice. I realized now, I'm like, dang, I miss I miss them. Why is this not? Did I scale this up at all? Okay, so I don't think this is the matching wall settlement then. Where's just, I know there's just the plain wall of stuff. What? Sure, that's the one I just placed. Oh yeah, it's a diagonal one. Delete these. I'm just gonna copy the rotation settings on you. Apply them to this guy. Does this just line up perfectly? That would make my life so much easier if it did. Yeah, don't like the overlap here, but for now, maybe that's... Actually, nah. I swear there's a better asset for this. We'll just use some... We'll add some towers here instead. Because I really just want additional vertical blockers. Actually, I wonder if I could just grab a smaller version of this. And then, yeah, place these at either end. That's a happy solution for me. My cat is just pacing around my feet, demanding the crunchy. These diagonal pieces be pissing me off so much. I mean, it's okay. It's supposed to be a little worn out and broken looking, but let's call it. Now, do we have any like tower pieces we can just slap on top of that? Rotate it. Turn snapping on. I do wish this kit had more debris. Like, I wish we could have one intact, and then the other have like kind of stuff taken. Actually, it is possible, but it uses dark magic that it uses the darkest of magics. I don't even know if I remember it, but let me try something. I sound disappointed about it. It probably is gonna look cool to y'all, but I was on a project at a job once, where all I did for like a few months was just learn how to use the fracture tool in Unreal, and then when I asked the person that assigned that to me and another female level designer, when we asked like at the end of the project why, the answer was especially because like environment artists were crunching to get some like level design done. We asked why, and the response was just, "Oh, I didn't know you were level designers." So this tool is really cool, but I have such trauma associated with it. But let's see if I can remember how to use this. Generate new. So yeah, we have our mesh selected. I'm just gonna put it into here, create, so it's called a geometry collection. Then you can choose how you want to fracture stuff apart. I think what I would usually do is I would set the sides like this. And I would fracture it once, and then I would choose an area, and I would do a cluster fracture on it. Okay, there's a way to turn off this preview also, I believe. Though actually, if the collision's set up on this, actually, I don't think it'll work with gunshots. Yeah, there's like something you have to add. There's a volume you have to add to actually make them react tragically. Which, if Lyra was easier to work with, we'd know we would be able to do that. What I'm wondering if we could do is if we could just, I think I've done things where you just go in and like delete some of these. I swear I've done something like that where I've like just taken apart the fractures. Yeah, and this shows the pieces they break down into. Ah. See, I'm very rusty with this, but though now I am tempted to try. Do we just go off topic and try to get these working? That's not the right tab. Oh wait, I think it was like something bones. Show bone colors. Yeah, turn that off. So now we want to Constructibles, UE. Just need like the name of the component. It's a long ass guide. Quick start. Oh wait, if we turn it, if we set it to simulate physics. If we simulate it now, will it just drop down? Oh! Behold. So we could do something where at the start of the level we have it just drop down and create its own custom debris with no collision. What? Or do we know it has no collision? Or if we can, there's a way to do a force volume, I think. That'll cause it to explode. If we could have like an explosion at the start. Or let's see, by shooting it. Will it let me attach something to the guns without coding? Got the blueprint class here. Full blueprint editor. Viewport. Aha. Wait, but this isn't the projectiles. It doesn't have the projectile. Maybe the grenade? The grenade isn't even, oh my god. What? Usually it's just a component you can attach to everything, but... Nope. Alright, let's get crafting. Let's just use the volume at the start then. Yeah, it's like master field. Okay, it's not gonna be in there. Fine. How did I? What? Where did it go? I think this is something you have to create and set up. Yeah, I swear there's ways to already make it somewhat destroyed. That's all I really want to do, destructibles. Pieces from object. This is so frustrating. I know I did it at my previous place, but I don't have access to that documentation anymore. Just gonna have to learn. What is my cat doing? Hey, we just walked directly into the PC. Oh, he's purring. Okay, we figured it out. Okay, so show bone colors. So I said I wanted I'm remembering now. I shouldn't have, actually if I just grab this whole chunk and prune that, there we go. Get rid of the sharp edge. Now we get rid of show bone colors, and what do you know? We can start making some destroyed assets. And now that we are doing that, we can do things like, I'm about to go crazy on this stuff. I can't believe I'm using this power for good. To be honest, I really haven't touched this stuff since that. What are you doing back there? Get out of my bag. Yeah, I really haven't touched it since that project. Because this is a cool thing to know in addition to level design. I think it was just when I was reduced to only this and not level design that I felt frustrated, but it is cool to add into a project. I don't know what all this stuff is doing now. Let's just go ahead, fracture that, and then... Nope, I did not mean to get rid of the entire project. Yeah, even just doing stuff like pruning this one piece. The one piece. Like, look at that! This thing's seen some stuff. And then, like, pieces like that don't look as natural, you can just in fact, if I want to keep this bottom piece here, but I do want to like round off the top, then just minimize the sites for the cluster. No! That's fine. Realism. That's realism. Don't tell me it's only for blocking out your level. Oh, the modeling in UE? I mean, I haven't... I feel like if it would probably be a little more tedious than, you know, blocking out, I feel like the process of blocking something out quickly on Unreal, taking the dimensions to model in something else, and then re-importing. I feel like that still might be a bit quicker. My feeling is that the modeling tool in Unreal is like a good start for a few pieces, but I don't know if it's necessarily the best workflow for doing an entire level. But I also haven't tried to. Yeah, I've actually never had that pipeline, because I either usually kit bash when I do stuff on my own, or I've been fortunate enough to work with lots of talented environment artists on my team, so I've never done the process of modeling an entire level in UE5, but I feel like it's not impossible. Like, if the tool's there, then depending on how refined you want to get with it, you probably could do a lot of heavy lifting, but nothing I've done so far. I can't believe my old coworkers are gonna laugh at me. They're gonna be like, "You did what?" After I complained so much about having to learn this tool. Don't let it be a lesson, even if like you're frustrated with something. Sometimes sticking it through is nice, because even if you're in a tough situation, you can still learn valuable skills. I'm gonna break this one apart again. I'm gonna break you apart again. Sometimes you like start chipping away too much and you have to keep taking more away to make up for it. That's fine. That's true. If you do it in UE5, it is night ready. But yeah, it's like the pros and cons of each. Like, you have some stuff, settings are like ready for Unreal, but like depending on what what your optimization's gonna be, and again, like how finite you want to get with some of the details, you'd have to make sacrifices there. I wonder if there are any like project workflows out there that have done modeling all in Unreal. And if it was a good or bad experience. Ooh, we should have like a little break and like the side here. Oh, I'm cooking. I can't believe I'm using this. Now, if I could put the fracture thing on the grenade, then we'll be golden, but that's probably something I'll look at off stream, because again, I just got off of work not too long before streaming, probably like an hour before I started stream, so and I was dealing with like a debugging something for like an hour, or the last hour of my workday, so if my brain's a little gone, it's because I used my free trial on the brain today. Only thing is now I feel like any of these pieces that don't have a fracture in them, I'm like, well, now it's out of place. That's not realistic. And now looking back on it, I was like so adamant to not use the tool. It probably would have been easier to use it would have been quicker to use the fracture tool on this part of the staircase up here, but I was able to get a more accurate, like, I was able to lay out like exactly what I wanted this width to be here and how long I wanted. It would be a lot of randomization, and a lot of like generation RNG and polish work needed after generating it if I were to do that with the fracture tool here. Whereas using just like shaping a BSP the old-fashioned way, I was able to get exactly what I wanted. But I'm not gonna be super picky about that with cover pieces, right? Yeah, there's gotta be someone out there is making something entirely in the Unreal modeling tool. Though also I guess I'm giving tips on this fracture tool now, but you can click it to like regenerate the mesh if you don't like the one you picked out, but you do like the settings on it. What? Nightbot! Calm down, Nightbot. I did still see the Twitch link come through though. Shulduck. Hermano Dev. Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. Always good to find more of the Unreal community. Yeah, Unreal's always been my baby. I've used it since like college. And then yeah, my first gig was on doing some work on like some AAA stuff. I was all using Unreal 4, and then my unreleased project work was all in like either 4 or 5. And now I'm using Unreal Engine again in my current work, so I've just kind of always been an Unreal person, by fate and by choice, by both. I did use Unity a bit, like about a year of light Unity experience, I would say. But since I'm very much a visual scripter person, so even though there are a lot of good positives about Unity, just blueprint scripting in general allows me to do so much more than I feel like I can in other game engines sometimes. Actually, I like the cutout here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate. Where's my details? Or not that, where's my outliner? Replace. There we go. And then I know Unity also had, I think they rolled back on it, but weren't they going to make some changes to like monetization and their engine that like would have I thought they were going to be like, hey, so Unity's not going to actually really be free anymore, and we're going to take like huge, I think the controversy was what, not just we're going to take huge cuts out of your games in the future, but like huge cuts out of existing games using Unity, which I don't even know how they could legally do that, but yeah, I think they rolled it back because there was a lot of controversy. But I remember, like, coincidentally, I feel like it was maybe when I started to sense layoffs coming, or when I think it was when I started to sense them that that like news was breaking out, and I was like, oh, I should really be working on my portfolio. Should I take the chance to revisit Unity? And then that news dropped, and I was like, well. But I do kind of want to recheck out Unity one day. It's always good to know, but I think my heart will kind of always be with Unreal, unless something catastrophic happens. But or wait, is there collision on these? Dang it! I knew I was forgetting something important. It's like, wait a minute. See if that fixed it, or if there's some other property that I've forgotten. Yeah, as a level designer, there's just so much Unreal can do for me. There's so many free tutorials out there. There's so many free assets you can use for kit bashing to fill the art side. And then there's so much visual scripting that you can do to fill the programming side. It's so special. It also always gives me a kick whenever someone's like, I'm even just mildly interested in game development, just to know how game engines work. I always love being like, well, Unreal's free? It's free. They're like, oh, but when I have to build the game? And I'm like, no, there's templates. They're like, oh, but it would be ugly. And I'm like, no, there's art kits. Like, you just gotta have, it is still a learning curve. I'm not saying it's easy, because like, I've been doing this for 6 years. I got my bachelor's in this, and I've been in the industry for like, how long have I been in the industry for? Almost 4 years now? I'm old. But yeah, so it's certainly not easy, but I think there is just so much to help you get started, and motivation and having resources is like the key to succeeding early on. So Unreal just provides a bit more of that than other game engines, in my opinion. But that's also a very level design approach. I think if you were an artist, maybe you'd have like different takes depending on like how your type of art gets imported, and how certain engines run on your computer. If you're a programmer, you might lean a little more towards Unity, because Unreal's blueprinting can be a bit of a pain from a programming perspective, I know. Okay, so now we have to go to all these collections and fix the collision, because I forgot. Yay! How many pieces did I alter? I think just those. If an NPC runs through cover to kill me, I'll know we missed the spot. That will be a warning to me. Let's see, I'll go ahead and I'll play a match, and then we will have I'll just simulate one while we wrap stuff up at the end. Started learning since 5.2. Trying to remember like when those came out. Unreal Engine, I know the difference between a lot of like Unreal Engine 4 types because I like kept switching them throughout college, and then like one version I used throughout college a lot I used for like my first AAA game a lot, so like I think even on a few follow-up projects, so like there's some versions of 4 that like really stick with me and I know what makes them different from like, I feel like the 2 I used the most were like 4, or the 3 I used the most were, I think 4.18 or 17 was my first, when I first started learning. And then 4.20 stuck around in my mind. 4.22 I started doing level design specifically, and then 4.25 I think was maybe some of my later portfolio stuff in Unreal 4. Where are the enemies? Oh, hey! That's my strat. But yeah, for me, 5's blurred a bit more together, even though even though I know they probably have bigger advancements between versions. Only way I know there's differences between 5.4 and 5.5 is because a lot of my assets still aren't compatible with 5.5, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is new. My stuff don't work. But yeah, I used to joke that I was allergic to scripting and didn't like blueprinting because of that. And then I took like one programming course and I was like, I will never bad talk blueprint scripting again. This is actually the coolest thing ever. Funnily enough, when I first started college, I didn't know specifically what in like game development I wanted to do. Because I had been like a band kid throughout all of high school, and an honors student, so I was doing like so much of like these academic things and then these music things that I actually, while I played a lot of video games, content creation and like game development were things I started until college. I kind of shot my shot in the dark. I only sent like one game development program application and I was like, this is what I would really like to do, but I don't know if it's too, at the age of like 18, I was like, is it too late for me to have a career in this if I played the clarinet and spent my time playing with Littlest Pet Shops growing up? Is it too late for me to learn how to use Unreal Engine? But I got accepted into the program, so at first I thought, oh, it's video games, so I'm going to need to learn how to program, obviously. And then I took a programming course, and I was just absolutely gutted by how much it did not click for me. I've still, every time I open like visuals, I've had to actually at my new place do a few things where programming will be like, hey, something's broken, you need to like, everyone needs to individually debug this, but here's step by step, and I'll be on like the verge of tears, like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I don't know what this language is. Even though I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's still definitely a hurdle for me. So when you think that's all game development is, and then you take a class and realize you're not good at programming, it's a little scary because you think, oh, I'll never be able to make a game. But I was actually able to, my first game credit was an indie game credit with my college friends that we put out shortly after graduating. And we had no programmers. It's very unoptimized and there's a lot about it I would do differently now. But we were able to put out a full game, and I don't think it's the worst game ever on Steam. It's playable. And it's got a lot of heart, so like it's gotta be fairly decent then. But yeah, just through blueprint scripting and using like asset source stuff, we were able to make an entire game. So blueprints will always be cool to me for that, because I think without them, I really don't think I'd be as far in design as I am now. And I don't know if I'd be doing what I'm doing nowadays. Oh, I like this. I like this. This is nice. I do want to throw a grenade at that. I will really look into how to do that. I think I remember running into this exact problem with Lyra actually on a project. But it was I think it was a programmer that fixed it. I never did that change, so I don't know what to do. Oh! They're using the foliage as cover! Do it again. That's excellent. Good job, good job. I feel so proud when the NPCs, like, the computer players kill me. I'm like, oh, wow, they're using the level. They're having, look how much fun this guy's having. Defeated? I carried. Let's let them run around on their own now. Yeah, just simulate. Let's pick a dude. Look at them go. They're having so much fun. I feel like a proud parent. Look. I also kind of want to let them just run around and like collect data on where they go. Seeing some of them actually run up this tower here, I was so worried that NPCs wouldn't use it, but because I put a weapon spawner up here, they use the tower the way it's intended, which is just crazy fun for me to see. No, the building blocks of coding, which you had access to that knowledge. If someone asks, you can tell them and not use the info for yourself. I've definitely... Okay, this guy's having an issue here. Landscape probably needs to be smooth. But I've definitely had that, like, knowledge I can give, but I can never possess. Or I'll just be having a brain fart and someone will ask me and I'll be like, oh, actually, I know how to solve that exact problem. And they'll be like, how did you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't apply the solution myself. My friend, Patui, who also streams and is our mod and emote artist. But she and I like lived together throughout college, we're college besties, and all that. But there was one night for a stats exam where she had skipped like all of the lectures for stats. And I had gone to every single one. Despite usually skipping class, I knew stats was going to be built different. So I actually went to class for that and took notes. And the night before the exam, we're doing a study session. And I like ask her a question and I'm like blah blah blah, something about the bell curve, and she goes, what's a bell curve? And I look at her and I'm like, it's we're taking statistics, the bell curve is like the only thing you need to know in statistics. And she's like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, oh my god. So I spent the night teaching her everything about statistics. she gets a much better grade on me on the exam than I did. I like completely threw the exam. I don't know what happened. I used to be a good test taker, I think, but over the course of college, I think there's so much more pressure put on exams. And I think I started pulling more all-nighters to do work that I became a bad test taker throughout college, unfortunately. And yeah, it just she was like, I passed the exam, what did you get, Emily? And I'm like, I'll pass the class, it's okay. You don't have to pass the exam to pass the class. If you do your homework, it's fine. So I totally get that feeling. But yeah, I think we're gonna end up near the end of stream here. Gotten a good 2 hours tonight, so I'm happy, and this is looking a lot fun. I know it art pass wise doesn't look too different from last time. We didn't do as much set dressing around the tower as I was originally planning to, but I'm happy with the foliage on the rocks especially. And I was not expecting, I really like, even though this is the only like piece of cover we really altered, I think it's already made a huge difference. We have the landscape that we can do more up here. So I'm really happy with this. I did not expect to revisit Destructibles anytime soon. But I hate to admit I have a little bit of fun with this. So I think this is where we're going to end up calling it for tonight. Again, I will be taking a brief game dev pause at the end of the month when Fantasy Life I comes out, so if you're a Thursday stream or a Friday morning VOD watcher and you wonder like, oh my gosh, did she drop her game dev streams again from the stress and burnout? I'm not burnout yet, I don't think. But I do want to definitely take the last 2 weeks of May just playing Fantasy Life and just enjoying. I think this is our first like new must-play title we've had, and we've had it on our must-play day one list since it was announced a few years ago now. So I've definitely been waiting to play it, so carving out the second half of the month just for that I don't think is too big of an ask. I was going to start like a new map or a new project and just put this on hold a little longer in June, but I think I want to jump back into this in June actually, and resume this. And then if you are a fan of the Fortnite creative streams, we are going to like revamp our Oz Tycoon one for Blocktober, and then a little bit into November as well, leading up to Wicked, because that's really good timing on my part. So yeah, we will be jumping back into the Fortnite creative stuff if you're specifically a fan of that in the fall. But I think I want to spend the summer. We'll probably continue to art pass this one up. Next week we're going to set dress our Forgotten City map, which I can pull up on Miro here to show. So yeah, this is our Spiral Tower work. Then this was the first map we worked on, and this is kind of the condition we left it in. I think it's actually a little bit nicer than this. I think I did a little bit more work, but definitely needs a foliage and lighting pass of its own. And then the last game dev stream we do of the month, we will be working on like small visual tweaks to both of them. Basically any last polish we want to do before we call it for the month. But yeah, I think we'll probably move on. I forget which was next on our list. I have to check the screenshots I got from my cousin, and I have to check what the results on that poll were way back when, at the start of the year, I think, when I made that poll. But we will definitely, I think we'll add a brand new map to the fold while we continue polishing up these two for the summer. And I think maybe we'll break it up. We might take more breather streams where we either take the week off or we switch over to like learning Blender or something. Or since I'm doing these video essays now, which again, first video essay that I've ever done is up on Twitch to subscribers, but will be available to everybody and on YouTube next Wednesday to give subscribers a week of exclusivity, but that will be available to you all very soon. So maybe doing an Adobe like Premiere Pro stream and showing you guys behind the scenes of that. I want to keep the summer open for like showing off different creative things and having the freedom to do that as well. But I think our main thing will be adding another map to this collection because I've been having a lot of fun with it. And we've spent the past like several months especially, I think like the past half year honestly, doing just Fortnite creative stuff, so I want to balance it out a little bit more again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in with me tonight. I'm going to go chill out. I'm probably just go to bed. I'm probably go to bed early tonight, but next stream again, these game dev streams, other than the break at the end of the month, aren't going anywhere. They're staying on Thursdays, but schedule I have here, I am starting up morning streams starting next week. We may have a little bit of shadow generations to do Monday morning, but I am going to try to do more Monday and Wednesday morning streams before work, so just an hour or two, but they are a nice way for me to start my day. Game dev streams and our Thursday night streams in general will stay on the calendar, and then I will be out like every other weekend. I know I'll probably take most of Mother's Day weekend off. If I had the availability to do like a quick morning stream sometime that weekend, I could, but I'm just gonna say ahead of time, taking most of Mother's Day weekend off to celebrate the moms and the family. And then near the end of the month, I'm guessing, I'm just kind of placeholder guessing like a weekend in here, but probably sometime end of May, early June, might take another like weekend off to do some travel and stuff. So I'm going to be a little bit more flexible with weekends as we go into summer weather here, hence why I'm starting up these morning streams as well in the video essays, so that you guys have some content even when I'm not here every weekend. But I will be here this weekend, and Saturday will be our monthly Elden Ring stream. I bumped it up for y'all to make up for all the schedule changes, so I hope y'all are ready for me to die. But yeah, I'm actually gonna go now. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your night, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.